Hello, I'm Trevor. Welcome again to Sportsball UK. This is just a short video mainly for Richard in Thirsk, who has just purchased the area for Thirsk area for his amateur club, and also for Mike in Bournemouth, who is a collector of footballs. It's just a couple of little tips regarding the football bladder and how to manage it. Now this is for Richard, who's just ordered some bladders. I've sent the bladders to you, Richard. Now this is how they arrive. But when they actually go into the football itself, what you need to do is pinch with your finger and thumb one side, pinch with finger and thumb on the other side, in the middle, and just gently pull them like that, so that the ball, well the bladder, is inflated inside. So you've only got half the bladder, so that when it actually goes into the football, there's less chance of you catching it with your needles that will puncture it. So rather than put the bladder in like that, like as they come, just halfway, finger and thumb on each side, just pull them apart like that, and then you just glue, as you've been taught, around the top of the bladder and also inside the football. Once it's tacky, then you put it inside and stick it down. So that's the main thing. Just make sure that you don't send the bladder inside the ball full length, because there's quite a good chance you might just catch it with your needles. So you know how to do that now, Richard. Good luck. Now this is for Mike in Bournemouth. Now Mike in Bournemouth is a collector of footballs, and he's got a football that's about 30 years old. It's only a size 3, but it's leaking from the neck of the valve. So this is for Mike. Basically just get your valve needle, little tub of washing up liquid, just wet it with the washing up liquid, stick it inside the neck and just work it up and down with the washing up liquid. Now if there's any dirt inside that valve, it should drop inside the football. And what happens with, once a ball is played with, obviously a little bit of dirt might just stick inside there, inside the valve. Now, it won't go inside the ball, it can't do, but the next time a club comes along and puts the valve needle in to inflate it, if there's any dirt in there, it pushes it inside the valve, and the valve will remain open and start to leak. So that is all you do, a little bit of washing up liquid on the valve needle. Make sure with the valve needle the top part is still screwed on, otherwise while you're doing that the air will come out. Just work it about, and hopefully if there's any dirt inside, it should just go inside the neck of the valve and then drop inside the football. So that's for Richard, sorry, for Michael in Bournemouth. Now what I'll do now, this is a football bladder, obviously. I'll show you, I'll cut it open and show you the inside of the valve. And that's the bladder, and that, as you can see there, is the valve. And basically that's the inside of the valve, which obviously was inside the bladder. Now once the valve needle is pushed inside, I'll just dip it in the washing up liquid again. I'll put it inside the valve, and as you can see there, the valve needle opens up inside the bladder. Can you see the valve needle? So that valve, once your needle is inserted into the top of the bladder, it comes out inside the bladder itself. Now obviously once you've got your pump going, the air then goes inside the bladder. Now when you pull the needle out, this valve should shut, but if there's a little bit of dirt on the inside, it will remain open and then it will start to leak. And you can always tell if you wet the end of the valve on the outside of the football, a little bit of spit, a little bit of water on the top of the valve, you will see it bubbling. Now if it bubbles, you know there's a little bit of dirt on the inside of that valve. And all that's holding that valve together is just a little piece of rubber. There's a little piece of rubber there that is just holding that valve shut. So what I'll do, I'll get a Stanley knife and I will cut the rubber just slowly and carefully and show you, hopefully, that piece of rubber. Now that's all it is, it's just a little piece of rubber that holds that valve together. Now it's not very strong, that is why, with it not being very strong, that rubber, over time a ball will deflate, will slightly go down, and that is because it's not 100% closed. Now as you can see, as I open the valve there, that's all the valve is, it's just a piece of rubber holding the valve together. So we stick the needle in, you will see the needle there coming out of the valve. So it's just a little tight valve held by a rubber, which, as I say, you can see it closing there. It closes as the valve needle is taken out. But if a little bit of dirt is on the inside, that valve will slightly remain open and air will leak out. So always make sure, always wet the neck of the valve once you've inflated it, just to make sure it's not leaking. If it is, just a little bit of washing up liquid on the valve needle, work it about and it should fall inside the football. So it's just a couple of tips there that may help, hopefully will help. And always keep that valve clear. As I say, just a little bit of washing up liquid. So hopefully that will help you. If you have any problems, or any club has any problems, my phone number is on my website, Sports Ball UK. Give me a call, and if I can help you in any way, I will do. Thank you. And there's just one more little tip that I will add before I leave. This is for Mike, who is a collector of footballs, but also anybody else who collects footballs. Always, periodically, just deflate the ball and then inflate the ball. It is just to keep the rubber bladder inside supple. If you let it down every so often and then inflate it every so often, that way the bladder is kept supple and won't crack. But if you leave it permanently inflated, the football, the rubber obviously never moves, so eventually it will just perish. It'll start to crack and perish over time. It usually takes between 10 and 30 years for it to perish, but if you let it down every so often, the rubber, as I say, is moving inside and then will become supple and it will last you for many years without actually cracking the bladder itself. Thank you.